I read somewhere that you aren't supposed to say Happy New Year after like January 5th, but I haven't been around for a quick minute, so Happy New Year, everyone! It's 2022, which means we are getting more K-pop stuff than ever, and while I'm really excited for all of that, I thought it would be nice to take a look back at 2021 since I missed most of it. I had made a video called My 2021 K-pop Wishlist, which basically was me explaining all the things that I wanted to happen in 2021. It wasn't necessarily what I thought would happen, but just my greatest wishes and desires, even if they were unrealistic. So in this video, I'm going to check my wish list to see if any of my wishes came true, and in general, see how the 2021 K-pop landscape played out. So without further ado, my first prediction from that video was... So when my original video came out, the company that we now know as HYBE was still called bighit, and already calling it bighit is a little unfamiliar to me, and the fact that HYBE has made us so aware of this naming change just goes to show how much they've grown in the past year. In 2021, they didn't really buy any new K-pop companies, so technically my wish for them to eat every company didn't come true, but they did acquire the Western music management company Ithaca Holdings, which manages artists including Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande. They also strengthened their partnership with Universal Music Group, which will help their current groups expand internationally. So while HYBE didn't really eat any company, their influence did increase by a lot. This is definitely something I wanted to happen because I feel like HYBE is in the best position to push K-pop globally. I'd said that any groups under HYBE were much more likely to gain international fame, and them debuting groups like ENHYPEN and acquiring groups like Fromis9 means that just a few more groups will be able to experience that success. I don't actually stan any HYBE groups, so I can't really call myself a HYBE stan, but they are a company that I'm more interested in than average. By the way, I thought they were pronounced HYBE until like 5 minutes ago, and I had to Google it, and turns out they're pronounced HYBE, so the more you know. So I think that this wish came kind of true. You can see that I put Dreamcatcher as the clip behind that prediction, and in hindsight that was just a depressing decision because no, they did not get their first win yet. In fact, I was sure that they had done it, so I looked up Dreamcatcher first win on YouTube, and the first result was, this is why Dreamcatcher isn't getting any wins. So no, this prediction did not even come close to being true, because it was mostly about Dreamcatcher, and even though they had 2 comebacks in 2021, neither of them gave Dreamcatcher their first win. I do recommend watching that video about Dreamcatcher because that video explains the reasons why pretty well, but on the bright side, there actually were some groups that are not Dreamcatcher that did get their first wins. So I'm not counting groups that debuted in 2021 because I don't think that counts because like they get it right off the bat, but some groups that did get their first wins after waiting for a while are Brave Girls, ONEUS, ONF, and Fromis9. I think that all of these groups have decent-sized international fan bases that help them get their first win, but especially in the case of Brave Girls, it was more the Korean general public that got them that win. I'm really happy for these groups that they did it, but it wasn't solely propelled by international fans. So my verdict for this wish is that it did not come true. Once again, this wish just didn't come true, and in fact, the few co-ed groups that did exist managed to become inactive over the course of 2021. JSEF, I'm pretty sure it was him, yeah, that guy from Card, he went to the military. Checkmate disbanded at the end of 2021, and as I'm sure you know, Triple H has been dead for a while. Technically, Hyuna and Dawn debuted as a duo in 2021 with Ping Pong, but a duo is not technically a group, so Akmu doesn't count either, you guys. Also, even in those duos, Hyuna and Dawn are dating, and the members of Akmu are siblings. So we have yet to see any co-ed duo or group that was formed by a company so that the members do not have previous connections to each other. I really managed to mess up on this wish, because not only did it not come true, the situation for co-ed groups actually got worse in 2021. So this wish became super untrue. Look at you. So, I think this wish was really flawed, especially in how I pointed out itzy and Blackpink as examples of groups that had this type of song. I'm not saying that itzy and Blackpink don't make songs about being cool, but it's not the only type of song they make. And as someone that listens mostly to girl groups, I didn't really touch on how this type of song is common among boy groups too. And that made this whole wish come off as kind of misogynistic. Like, why was I criticizing these girl groups for basically being confident? That's not to say that this type of song doesn't have flaws, because it definitely does. And my wish did kind of come true because both itzy and Blackpink transitioned away from the type of music they were making in 2020. Blackpink more because of their solos, so I guess I can't really say that Blackpink as a whole changed their music, because there wasn't any music to change, but I liked how Rosé's solo broke from Blackpink's typical style. I think that's what a solo is supposed to feel like, and even though Teddy was still all over it, it felt fresh. Lisa, not so much, but I did enjoy her solo anyways, so there isn't much more to say about that. Itzy always was changing, at least in terms of concept, so when they continued to do that in 2021, it wasn't really fulfilling my wish. Lyrically, singing about how you're crazy in love is different from I'm so cool, but overall, I didn't see that much of a difference. Musical quality is also something that is subjective, but I wasn't considering that in my original wish. So I'll say that this wish kind of came true, but also it didn't really make any sense in the first place. I like how in my original video I said that I wanted this to happen even when things went back to normal, but considering that things still haven't gone back to normal, I'm not sure if this wish still applies. Some groups like Twice and ATEEZ have announced in-person tours that will also have a live stream component, which is really the best of both worlds. But I still don't think it's smart to proceed with in-person concerts right now. Online concerts are definitely the way to go. This wish definitely came true in 2021, not really because anyone had a choice about it, but it was still nice to see how most of the K-pop community was enjoying these concerts from their faves. I did like how SM continued their tradition of a free live-streamed concert on New Year's Eve. That was pretty fun to watch. And even the concerts that you had to pay for, I think, had pretty positive reviews. So overall, it's bittersweet, but this wish came true. I guess this came true. It was more of a prediction than a wish, and especially looking at the quality of debut music videos, I think it's true that the production quality of music videos as a whole has been increasing. I love to see it, I'm such a huge fan of everything that's been going on, and I can't wait to see groups make even fancier music videos in 2022. So, I don't think that this came true for the industry as a whole, and that just came with what types of concepts were happening in 2021. There were some missed opportunities, in my opinion, but then again, there are some solo artists I can think of that have some more fun makeup. Something I didn't consider in my original wish was that it's much harder to give everyone in a group fun makeup while still making them match. So that's probably a reason why we didn't see anything absolutely crazy in groups. But there definitely could be some group or comeback that I missed that had awesome makeup, so if you know of any, please let me know in the comments. Knowing what I do now, I'm not really sure if I can say this is still one of my wishes, especially since it did not come true in 2021. For those that don't know, there's something called the Dispatch couple, which is where Dispatch will reveal a famous couple at the beginning of every year. So I was wondering what couple they were going to reveal in 2022, but no idols were part of the couple that they did end up revealing. I'm pretty sure it was like a soccer player or something, so no idols. There are a few theories floating around about why Dispatch hasn't really revealed any couples lately, the main one being that companies are paying Dispatch to keep it a secret. I'd said in the original video that it was pretty creepy how Dispatch stalks the idols to try to figure out who they're dating, so if the companies are paying Dispatch off to prevent that, that's fine by me. But that also means that the companies themselves are also intent on keeping this couple secret, which is not really in line with my original wish either. Besides G-Dragon and Jennie, which I had mentioned in my original video, the only other big dating reveal I could think of from 2021 was Crush and Joy. And as a Red Velvet alt, it surprised me that I had to think for a while before remembering that Joy was in a relationship. I think that's how it should be, you know? The relationship doesn't define either of the artists in it, so it doesn't really matter whether they break up or not. It would be weird if the first thing I thought of when I thought of Joy was Crush. He's a totally separate person, he makes his own music, he has his own identity, and I think it's important that we consider them as separate entities. So, I don't want to say that there was a shift in idol dating culture like I had wished for. It mostly stayed the same, even though my wish was technically fulfilled by Joy and Crush's relationship. So, this wish was technically true. Overall, most of my wishes didn't come true, or only came kind of true. So, that makes 2021 not the best year in K-pop in my eyes. I don't even think any of them were that unreasonable, so it surprised me looking back to see that they didn't come true. Being able to see the whole of 2021 in hindsight really makes a difference. I hope that better things will come in 2022. Maybe I'll make a wish list, but I'm afraid that I would be disappointed in the future, so maybe that's a bad idea. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know it's been a while since I've posted. Feedback in the comments would really be appreciated because I've spent my break thinking about how to improve both personally and in terms of the content that I make, so that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!